Welcome to HoodWave Radio, and this is your host Daniel Hood, and you're about to listen to pre-recorded and live broadcasting. And if you want to find out more, please go to our website at www.hoodwave.org. Again, that is www.hoodwave.org.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people where we talk about critical issues in the blindness community. I'm Aaron Richmond. Tonight, like all other episodes, is of course copywritten by me and Aaron Richmond. Thank you. And of course, you can listen to this episode of Aaron's Opinion right here on YouTube, as many of you do, along with iTunes or wherever you might get a podcast, okay? You guys can comment below right here on YouTube. Don't forget, follow on Facebook, and even consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. I appreciate the support. Telephone number to send in those nasty messages or nice messages, 1240-681-9869. 1240-681-9869. Aaron's Opinion 6 at gmail.com. Let's get into it. You know, I'm sure you guys remember and really enjoyed the episode called Friend, where we spoke with Connor. And then I had the honor of speaking with Katie, in our new friend Katie, I believe that episode was. Well, tonight I got a really, really good special for you. I'm really excited. We're really, really honored to be joined this evening by Daniel Hood, of course, a friend to me, a friend to all in the broadcasting podcast world. At least he should be. He should be your friend for sure. He's, of course, friends with Connor and Katie, and he is the owner, and basically he runs his very own online radio station, Hood Disability Radio. He joins us right now, and Daniel, you are on Aaron's Opinion. Go right ahead. Just dive into it. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Glad to hear it. So, as you know, I am blind, and so can you tell us, how did you get into radio in the first place?
That's a very good question. Well, I've always had interest in radio. When I was younger, I actually used to, this is before the podcast, putting the cassette player and push, record and push play. This is back in the 80s. So I've always had interest in radio.
Cool. Okay. So, my first question, and I'm a bit younger than you. I'm a younger person. I'm 29. So I grew up in the 90s. But I too have been extremely interested in radio my entire life. I always love talking to people, love educating people, and love, having my show and podcast here. So, well, first of all, a lot of people, around the community who do not do what we do in podcasting would want to know, well, okay, Aaron and Daniel, it's one thing to have a podcast or have a radio show, but if I'm not doing that, how would someone get into radio and actually create the station in the first place? So what do you need to do to set up an online radio station these days? What are all of the steps, from A to Z? Go for it.
The first one is actually do your research. That's the biggest one. And for one thing, I have been doing let's get to it here. So do your research. And for one thing, just do what you have to do.
So how do you set it up? Is there a particular, for instance, on the podcasting side, where we have podcast hosting companies where you sign up and then you can host a podcast. So I'm sure something is similar to radio. You can't just go to a website and push, go live. You probably need some way of, recording some way of hosting your website and hosting your radio station in the first place.
Oh, here we go. Now you just got it. It's like iTunes, in any of those type of platforms. And so, what I did is I had found an online radio, online streaming platform, and so now I'm going to be able to do it 24 hours, 7 days a week. Which I only have 3 episodes playing right now. I have to get some more content.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, so what is your so what is this streaming software that you're using, and like how do you like set it up to like have a station? That's what I would want to know.
Oh, so basically, you get for one thing, you get the information, and then you actually get the service, and so it provides you a username or server name and a password. And so once you get that, you put this into a software. For an example, like WinApp is a Windows program. There's other streaming programs just like this. And also I also use Linux. Linux is not a completely different operating system besides Windows. And so they have these platforms, and once you have that, you'll be able to stream live.
Okay, good. And now, how do you actually go about setting up the station's website? In other words, the page that the public would see. Here on Zoom, when you guys are watching on YouTube, you'll see Daniel's avatar for his station, his logo. But how did you go about setting that up, and finding a hosting company for the website for the station? Like, how did you go about doing that?
Well, one, I found it, and I had applied for the service, and then it provides you a website. So basically, there's a website, and then I actually have my own domain. And so a domain is where you go to www, and so I actually have it where you can go to my website, and you're actually being able to actually listen to the live stream.
Okay, so basically, what is the name of this service that you signed up for, by the way, to have all of these tools?
Oh, that would be Podbean.
Oh, okay. So Podbean, you're saying that Podbean has kind of a radio station feature in their toolbox, basically. I see, I see. So Podbean offers several options from podcasting, which is what this is, what we're recording now, to actual radio production, basically. They have 2 different options, I guess we could say, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I see. I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think we will see a lot of these hosting companies will be offering that type of thing. I mean, this thing right here is hosted on Anchor. So I wonder if Anchor will eventually adapt into that, where you can have like a station that kind of plays out your content in a radio-like form like that. Yeah, I wonder. Very interesting. Okay. So, who do you have on your station? How do you organize your schedule? Like, what can you tell us about the station so that people can know, to go listen to it?
Well, you can actually go to www.hoodwave.org, and you will be able to go to the website and being able to go to HoodWave Live, and then you will be able to listen to the broadcast.
Okay, now is that link? Now, did you send me that link, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Ah, very good. Okay. Well, I will put that in the description, and then people can go to that and know how to get to your station. Okay. So who's on your station right now? Like, what's your like lineup and your schedule and all of that?
Right now, it's really I don't really have anything right now, so I haven't really had time to play with it because I don't have any content on it. So that's one of the main reasons why I went to WFNU Frogtown Community Radios, because they're trying to. That's the main reason why I'm actually going and being able to do live, so I can be able to get my increase my client base.
Right. Sure. Definitely. Well, you have, as I said yesterday, you have this content to which you can certainly put the audio on your station if you want. I'll certainly give you the file. I'm giving you permission to do that, so you can put it on your station if you want to, and then you can get used to doing that, and then over time you can have more podcasts coming into your station to be played outwards. Yes, I think that would be very, very good. Yes. Um, and maybe they're blind, or maybe they, like us, they have a disability, and they're, a little bit more concerned about, pricing models.
Like I said, it varies, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. And so, with the fact what I'm trying to do now is I am trying to make it easier for people with disabilities. So if they can't afford it, that's how I come in, where I have the service, and so I will be able to being able to provide them the server and the password. So any DJ or host will be able to use HoodWave Disability Radio as basically a place where you can actually host your station. That's the whole premise of what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So basically, guys, what this sounds like to me is you want to become the future hosting service for other people who want to have their own radio show or station.
Yeah, especially if somebody is not able to afford it, or because it's really, really difficult, because it's very, very difficult, because with the pricing, but not everybody's going to be able to do this. This is the main reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I want to give people a chance to being able to be a DJ, give them a chance to being able to have their voice and being able to do that. So this is exactly what I'm doing. So when you're talking to me, try to pick my brain, because sometimes I have a hard time,
no worry.
Pulling,
no worry. No worry. You're doing great, my friend. No worries. I'm especially good at picking brains. That's something that podcasters do. You have to ask a lot of I'm good at I have a speciality in picking brains. All right. So no worries, man. Yeah. Cool. Well, I've spoken with, a lot of people from around the world. Many of them, not all of them, Daniel, but the vast majority are blind. I'm just curious, have you taken a listen to my content? Because there's a follow-up question if you have listened. Have you listened to my content?
No, I have not.
No worries. Yeah, no worries, my friend. I was just going to say that if there's anyone that you have already heard, on my show, on my podcast, who you think would be a good fit for your station, let me know. Actually, I can tell you who it is off the air, but I'll give an example without saying their name. A friend of mine in the community, and this is true, okay? A friend of mine in the community, they happen to be blind, and they happen to be starting up a nonprofit, and they had a radio station for themselves at one point or another, and they had some frustrations, and they've had to kind of rebuild a little bit their station. They've had to kind of reconstruct it. And this person is blind, and they want to have their own station. For example, would you be interested in working with that person? Is that the type of person who you want to network with?
Yes.
Good.
Those are, you just nailed it. These are the kind of people that I want to help, like, for this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so this person won't have to pay a thing. So what I'm trying to do now is that I want to being able to basically raise money and being able to give these people a chance to being able to do that. That's exactly what I want to. I want to being able to give them a tool that they can use.
And and this is so I support you 1,000 times over. This is so important, and this is one of the reasons. And I'm going to be a little harsh. This is going to be a little rough. But one of the reasons why I think so many blind people and people with disabilities sometimes feel that they have some struggles in life is because they don't always have a voice. Well, at Aaron's opinion, if you're talking to Daniel Hood at HoodWave Disability Radio, we're the people who give you the voice. Basically, this is important. What we do at Aaron's Opinion and what Daniel does is important because it gives you, the listener, the chance to share your knowledge. And that's why this is important. And that's why I support it. And that's why you're always part of Aaron's Opinion. Trust me, you won't be able to get rid of me now that I have your email and phone number. So this is, this is why I love podcasting, the ability to truly help others, and not to pretend to help others, but to truly help. And that's really important to me. It's really important to me, and it's really important to Daniel. So yeah, I will certainly, we'll talk about it later. This particular person is a little, can be a little shy and a little nervous, but he does want to have his own radio station, and he does have a lot of content for himself. So I think you guys should have should network. I wonder if I could set up. I wonder if we could. Well, we'll talk later. But I wonder if I could set up a three-way Zoom with you, me, and this other person. But yeah, we will certainly work that out. So okay, now on to the more difficult side of this, which, anytime you help people, unfortunately, you have to kind of, learn how to talk about money a little bit, and I don't mean to make a big deal of it, but it is part of all of this. So okay, are you personally a 501c, Daniel? Are you 501c3?
I am trying. I believe it or not, my name is registered to the Secretary of State under nonprofit.
Right.
But that's only to the Secretary of State
of Minnesota.
Of Minnesota. That's correct. But I was not told, well, I might have a nonprofit name, but I am not a 501c3.
501c3. Do this here. You know what? I'm sure that our great friends Connor and Katie definitely know what to do. So I would just ask them if I were you. They'll definitely help, and I know they will help you because I've talked to them. I know they can help you solve that one. But yeah, because the only way, if you're not 501c3, because if you are, it's a lot easier for people to donate. If you aren't, well, have you thought of other ways of generating funds to help these people for your station without being 501c? I can think of one, but I want to see what you can think of. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly, but I do. I do have a PayPal. I actually have a PayPal
me too.
Page.
Oh, good. Me too. Oh, good. Me too. You could even Daniel. You can even give me money. Yes. Good. Okay. See, we're helping people and making money at the same time. Wow. Okay. Only kidding. Well, okay. I mean, but do you have some sort of a donation page on your station?
Yeah, I actually have a donation button where you can actually donate, and it will go into there. So I've already had that edit set up a long time ago.
Oh, okay, excellent. So, now how do we know, and how do listeners around the world know? And Daniel, I believe you 1,000%. But how do listeners know that when they donate to you, that money only goes to your station? How do they really know?
I'm going to let it be known. I mean, I'm not going to, because the stuff that I'm trying to do here, I want to have it specifically, because one of these days, I want to actually have it where, one of these days to actually being able to be also a business. And so, because I've been doing some of my research, but you only can make so much, but you can actually pay yourself. But because I was, I've been reading up on it, but it's very, very difficult. That's the reason why I need to get a team of people that know exactly what to do and basically know how to be able to make a nonprofit work, so that you can be able to say, if you get a staff, you'll be able to pay your employees and also being able to pay yourself. And so that's the reason why you get a team. That's the reason why you get a financial advisor, an accountant, being able to help you, being able to, do it right, so that that you're doing it legally.
Right, and that's what I was asking. I believe you that you're going to use the money for your station, but it's just important when you have it set up so that people know, because with 501c3, like what our great friend All Connor does. Connor has to, basically, in summary, he has to tell the government how much his 501c3 made. So it's more like obvious when people are donating and helping out that the money goes directly to help with what they do. That's the difference. What
Right.
what and that's why you need to talk to Katie, um, and um, and Scott, and they will help you for sure. Someone over there knows what needs to be done to
Oh,
get you
basically
501c3.
that was
Yeah.
believe it or not, this is one of the main reasons why I actually wanted to volunteer at the station, because I already knew that this would be, I would have a lot of walls to run. I'd be running into a lot of barriers. And so one of those barriers, I thought if I went and volunteered, people will get to know who I am. And so when something comes up or somebody wants to know what, specifically where money is going to go, I would definitely being able to do that. And for one thing, uh, like I said, I need all the help I can get. I've been trying to apply. It's been really, really hard to get grants, because some of the grants you need to have. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to them. But it's asking for money is very difficult, and I think you already know that.
I do. Well, okay. Well, here's how I do it. Okay. I kind of give a little plug to my Patreon one time, once at the beginning and once at the end. And I will secretly tell you that some people have joined me on Patreon. So it's about giving an option to people to help you out. Then you produce content that people love, and then people trust you, and then people believe and know that what you're doing is the right thing to do, and then they see that you're doing the right thing, and then people start to, open their wallets, or as we say, loosen their belts. um,
Right.
right, and that's really how it works. When they see your content, then they see it's worth supporting. And I'm telling you, it is. It's worth supporting. I'm also, because I'm so overly motivated. I mean, I'm about the most overly motivated person of overly motivated people that I know. So I'm also, if you don't mind, I'm not going to name drop on the air, but I'm going to send this video to one of my other acquaintances who works in the radio field, and he also has a disability, and he has a nonprofit, and he's extremely knowledgeable about all of these matters that you're running into. I'm sure you would want to talk to him. And so I will. I mean, if you want, I can send him this YouTube video, and ask him if he could potentially reach out to you, so that you could get another person to help you, and another more advice for what needs to be done. Yeah.
So, so when it comes to HoodWave, so basically,
Hmm.
I am going to be producing our content, but I also, because of the radio station, other people will be able to, being able to be DJs, and so hopefully when I get a whole bunch of people, they'll be able to help me being able to specifically being able to say what this station and what it's supposed, what it's going to do.
Well, it's clear. It's Hoodwave Disability Radio, right?
Right.
And it's a radio station. It's an organ. Basically, you're an organization that helps people with disabilities who want to be on the radio, who have a story and knowledge to share.
Right.
There you go. Basically, what very, very, very similar to what Connor does, but Connor's, kind of ahead of the game. Connor already has the 501c3. Connor's Corner is already on the 501c3 level. At least I think they are, right?
This there.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. So basically, you want to be, and guys, we need as many of these great people. We need as many of you Daniels out there who have the skills, the knowledge, and the heart to care and do the right thing as we possibly can. So the fact that I've spoken to all of you, it shows that all of you are great people. and that all of you really need some help and really need some support out there. So, you know, well, okay, well let's change the gears, and then we'll kind of swing it on back. So, you know, I've been asking you a lot of questions here. I'll give you well, actually, let's here. You know what? Let's have some coffee. Hold on, gotta have coffee on my show. Ah,
How's
perfect,
it taste?
perfect. What? So what questions do you have for me? And you know, my life, who I am, Aaron's opinion. You know, what do you really want to know about what we do on my side of the podcast?
Well, I got to ask it again. Well, how did you start?
Sure. So, about a year ago, I was listening to a lot of podcasts geared towards a blind audience, right? And I found out that through all of these podcasts, I noticed one thing. There was one thing in common. None of those podcasts, and by the way, all of them are excellent, but none of them were approachable. I never felt that I could approach the guest or the host of a podcast and say, "Hey, everybody, my name's Aaron Richmond. I'm blind. I'm a teacher, and I just love to educate people and love to be on podcasts." Okay. I found that there just were not enough podcasts that were really geared towards that. And of course, I love to complain. I love to educate people, and I love to help people. So if you want to complain about stuff, educate the world, and maybe help one person, start a podcast. So I thought, well, since I have so many opinions, why don't I just talk to myself, right? Nothing wrong with that. So I pushed that record button, started talking to myself, you know. And one of the first things that I did in the podcast world was I would answer critical questions that were being asked in the blindness community. Everything from how do I approach university to should I adopt a pet to how to live alone to should I travel abroad, you know, and I would answer these questions. And I noticed something. After you start answering people's questions, and after you know the three most important things in podcasting, which are your audience, and your audience starts to answer you. Your audience starts to push the play button and listen to what you have to say. And like I was saying before, they started to value my opinions and my content. They started to feel that my content was worth a listen. And then I really just enjoyed it. It was really fun for me. I just love being behind the microphone. I mean, people say I should be on the radio. You know, I just love the role that I have as a podcaster and educator and YouTuber doing this, you know? So this is what I love to do. I mean, I love my teaching and I love podcasting because it truly is the way that I'm able to help other people like you and so many others. Yeah.
Well, I do have a question.
Yeah. Well, I do have an answer.
Okay. Oh, the question is that, well, you mentioned that you're a journalist. So,
Well, I consider myself to be a podcast-ish journalist-ish YouTuber-ish.
okay. Well, I guess the one question is it, did you go to school for it? That's what I'm asking.
No, not at all. That's a great question. I went to school for international affairs. So my academic background is more on the political international relations side. And then I got into education, you know, online education after I graduated, and then I started listening and then started talking. So one thing kind of slowly led to the next thing. Yes. hmm
Who's
And
going to talk?
apparently you. Okay. And what about you? What are some of your questions? Some of your other questions that you want to ask me?
I'll tell you the truth, I really don't have any questions right off. I don't.
Well, okay. Well, that is totally okay. Um, all right. So when you are not running your own station there, how are you spending your time during the day? hmm
Oh, well, believe it or not, I am working. I actually got
I believe it. I believe you.
Actually, I haven't had the job for very long. I've been unemployed for a couple of years, and so I finally, I finally just decided to get a job. I also, believe it or not, I'm married. That's one of
I
the
believe it. I
yeah.
believe it.
And so one of my well, for one thing with my disability,
Right.
it's really cool is that I'm married. I'm actually happy. So that was minimum. If you're wondering, that is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this whole thing. And if you're wondering how HoodWave actually started, my wife actually helped me come up with the name HoodWave.
As in a play on the word hoodwink. Right?
No.
That's what it reminds me of. Yes. Well then how did she come up? Well, if it's not about hoodwinking people, then how did you get the hood wave part?
We were trying to come up with different names that would make, I'll say, HoodWave, or we were trying to make a good title for a business name, and we were trying to just throw it off. And I was like, well, I have interest in radio, and I thought about, it's about the radio waves. And I had something come up, and I said hood, and she goes, how about HoodWave? I was like, then my wife and I both came up with that, and it stuck. So
Good.
that's how we came up with HoodWave Disability Radio.
Um, do you may I ask a kind of a personal question, and you do not need to answer. Um, so Daniel, so through speaking with Connor and Katie and everybody at WFNU, um, um, I understand that. Well, or let me ask you, are like, do you consider yourself to be like on the spectrum, like autistic? Because I consider myself to be blind. But I actually to as you would say, believe it or not, I do consider myself to be on the spectrum myself, a little bit too. Um, so the reason I'm asking that, the reason I'm saying that is so, um, is your wife like on the spectrum? Is she blind? You do not need to answer that. I'm just purely curious.
Well, if actually no, she does have well, we both have an intellectual disability, and the fact that, so that didn't stop us from doing the things that we are, what we're doing. For one thing, it's interesting. I am what you call developmentally delayed, or DD, but I also have a lot of the autistic characteristics, and so I don't have all of them where they can't say I have. I'm not. So I say that I'm not, say, Asperger's or with autism, because you have to have so many characteristics to actually have that diagnosis.
Okay, cool, good, fine. Okay, and that is all very well and very very good. And what other activities do you like to do when you're like using your free time? Like, how else are you spending your time besides work, and then the station and stuff like that?
Well, it's been pretty tough because of the well, if this pandemic wasn't around,
Yeah.
what the things I like to do is, I like to go to parks, I like to go to the mall, and just, yeah, I love music. I like rock and roll, but I also like a lot of the electronic music as well,
Mm-hmm.
like techno, um, electronic music. What's one of the coolest things is that I like anything to do with computers, and the fact that that's one of my hobbies is computers. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to go to school, but I found it's it is pretty expensive now that, unfortunately, when you get to a certain age, unfortunately, with the, I'm not, I got some, not to say a vision problem, but because of my disability, it's because I can't consider myself blind because I'm not, because I can see. It's it's one of the most complex because it's almost like it's a disconnect from, it's almost like a disconnect from the brain. So certain things, and so sometimes I actually have a hard time with some with the muscles in my eyes and stuff. I've always struggled with with vision, but unfortunately, it's the doctors really can't put a diagnosis on that either.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I understand. Um, and at home, do you have any pets?
Well, I actually have a hamster, and my wife actually has a leopard gecko.
Oh, oh, I love leopard geckos. Love that stuff, man. Love that stuff. Oh, that just makes my night. Okay, that's fantastic. Um, do you have any interest in like other reptiles or other exotic pets?
Oh, it's really interesting because I really haven't really had because certain things I can't, you know like I can't stand slimy. I can't stand the feel of fish. I can't even pick up a worm. Ugh. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be interesting. I can actually pick up the leopard gecko, and her name is Spotty.
Oh,
So yeah, so I could actually pick her up. It's kind of weird because there's a lot of those type of creatures. But it's not. I think it's more like more like slimy. I don't
yeah.
really mind scaly. Scaly it doesn't bother as much as slimy.
Well, neither one bothers me. I'll pick up anything, even if it's scaly or slimy. Hmm. That's so good, man. That's so good. Yeah, yeah. I love snakes. So at one point my dream is to have my own snake. But then again, my dream is to have my own parrot. So I don't know. What about you? Do you love parrots?
Uh, they squawk too much.
So no is the answer. Okay. Well they're parrots. What do you expect? It's like telling a dog not to bark or a cat not to meow, you know?
Well, I had interest in a macaw, but
Oh.
I heard those things are mean.
Well, truth of the matter is it depends on the macaw, it depends on the person, it depends on how the person cares for the macaw. If
Okay.
you if you like have it set up in a big space, if you let it out a lot, if you train it to fly, that tremendously helps to reduce its anxiety that they can have. But it does depend. Certain birds are just better than others. Just like any dog has a personality, every bird has a personality too. I see. I see. Well, that is all very, 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 very entertaining. I see. Where did you see this particular macaw, or just in general, you've had an interest in the past?
I must have seen it on television or something.
Yeah, yeah, they are very photogenic. They are very, very beautiful. There's a lot of species of macaw actually. Um, well, stay tuned. Actually, I'm hoping to record an episode about parrots coming up in a few days, maybe in a week or so. There's a special person who has some, and I really hope she can come to the podcast and educate us all about parrots. I would just be inspired by that, truly inspired. But yeah, no, but it's tough because my parents don't allow pets right now. I've had things in the past. I've had two dogs. Um, one of which was a guide dog. She and but now we're just down to just us. So it is a little tough. now and again. But my parents can't have like a big squawking bird. So maybe someday they'll let me have like one of the smaller little cockatiels or something that's a lot calmer and more quiet and a lot better with families. A macaw would be good for a single person who lives alone and just loves their macaw. That would be what the macaw would be looking for. They are not family birds. They're individual birds for like a companion friend.
Right.
They are fascinating. Definitely. There's very large ones, very small. There's like it was something like there's like 12 or 16 different species that are actually kept, and one of them is quite small. They can be so there's some of the smaller types, medium-sized ones, and then the big ones that you're thinking of that squawk really loud. Yeah, but that's how they talk. Like we talk, dogs bark, cats meow, birds squawk. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, man? Let's see. Have you traveled overseas before?
No.
That's fine. Do you want to travel overseas?
Yes. If I'm able to get this HoodWave on its feet, my dream is to get this international. And so hopefully in time when this pandemic
Mm-hmm.
dies down, I want to being able to take this to a whole different level. And like you said with Katie and with Connor's Corner, they're actually radio hosts. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take it to the next level where it's actually station. So HoodWave will be an actual international station. That way,
Right, but now it is though because it's on YouTube and most of my audience is overseas. So when people click your link, they are not going to be from the United States. They're going to be from all over the world. So now the world does know about your station. Hmm. How's that?
hey, that's good. That's fine with me.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and that's another kind of question, I guess, that just occurred to me, right? Let's say that like someone is from overseas, and they're from an English speaking country, and they want to have their station or have their show. So, and just please be honest. I mean, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are going to be. But would you be able at the present time and current situation that we have? Would you be able to accommodate someone from overseas? And what I mean by that is, would you be able to wake up either, early or late? Would you be able to have a conversation with someone overseas? Hey, if they say, hey, Daniel, I just saw Aaron's YouTube video, but I'm in the Philippines, let's say. Would you be able to accommodate, those types of things to get them on your station too?
Yeah. Well, I haven't put that. I actually haven't planned that far ahead. Actually.
Because I mean, well, see, the effect is it might happen because most of my audience is not living in the United States. Most of the people who listen to Aaron's opinion, the listeners on the audio on the podcast, most are American. But the people who are on my YouTube channel, most are not from the United States.
Ah,
It's very interesting, right? Mm-hmm.
right.
Yes.
I actually, I'll be open. I would be open for it. I mean, all you have to do is you basically email me and I'll definitely respond.
Sounds like that sounds perfect. Or maybe now as far as contacting you goes, well, can they just click the link in the description for your station, and then is there like a contact page on the station, or is there contact us on the station, or how does that work?
You would actually, well, if you go to WFNU, there is actually a
Yeah, yeah, but you know what though? No, because that's the other station. I mean, if someone wants to contact your station only, I understand you work closely with WFNU. That's wonderful. But if
right.
someone wants to contact you directly, and to
Okay.
get onto your line, how would they do that? Yeah,
Here it would be www.hoodwave.org. So it's www.hoodwave.org.
here and actually for blind, sometimes blind people like it to be spelled. So can you spell it? The hood and the wave, just so we know.
Oh, it'll be here. I'll be www.hoodwave.org.
Fantastic. So that is how they, and then now on that page, is there a contact us button or contact me? In other words, how would they contact you directly?
They would go. Well, basically, they would go to the website, and
Uh-huh.
then they would go to Oh, geez. Here I'm looking for it right now. So
Sure. Let me here. Wow. Okay. While he looks, let's drink some coffee here. Okay.
oh, here we go. And
Ah,
let me
excellent.
here we go. If you want to go here, so you go to the page and you go down, and you would actually find um oh, it will be under contact. So you go under contact, and then all my information, uh, my address is on there, my email address, my phone number's on there if you want to get a hold of it. But if you're overseas, then you would probably want to go, go and email me. That would probably be the easiest. That'd probably be the easiest route.
And and if you're blind and you don't want to spend the time typing out an email, you can certainly send in an audio message to his email by creating an audio file, an MP3 or a wave, and then just sending that into an email. I email people a lot through audio messages. I think it's a very effective way of reaching out to people from all over the world. Definitely, it is.
Huh?
Cool. Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I would have never would. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if you have something and you have a hard time. If you have a hard time, yeah, I wouldn't mind receiving an audio file. And
Well,
then,
it's important because I don't like typing, so I'll just open a memos thing and just talk,
yeah,
and then just send it into the email. That's so much easier, and it really makes it a lot. It makes communication easier because you can hear my voice. You know who I am, so it makes it a lot more real and a lot more a lot more tangible. I think so. That's how I email people a lot. Is just through audio communication, or you can type it too. Yeah. I mean, I wonder, do you guys have like a Facebook page if someone can send your station a Facebook message? Do you guys do that on your station?
yes, I have all my contact. Basically I have the email address. I got the phone number. I also, if you ever want to get a hold of Leah, she has an email address. So I actually have a Facebook and a Twitter account. So I actually have so you can actually get a hold of me on Twitter too.
Okay, cool, cool. So someone can someone DM you on Twitter?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Well, the reason I asked, some of the Twitter accounts you can't DM. So I've dealt with that before where
Oh, really?
I've wanted a guest on my show, so I have to reply to a tweet and tell them to DM me so I can talk about something. That does happen on Twitter a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. DM. What does DM stand for?
Like direct message. Like sending you a private.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah, yeah.
can.
Okay, good, good, cool, cool. Yeah, I prefer the audios with Facebook messages or just emailing an audio file. That's how I prefer to communicate. But there are a lot of people that prefer Twitter, and things like that. Well, I must say I am incredibly proud of you and your station. As I said, um, there's a couple people that I want you to talk to, but I want to tell you who they are before we have to get going. So, but I'm not, but I don't, I try not to name drop on the air. So I'm going to tell you after we finish this. But anyway, Daniel, while we have you on the show, do you have any final words of wisdom, final questions, final comments, final concerns for me and Aaron's opinion?
Well, the holidays is coming, so I want to wish you, happy holidays. And
I And I want to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you, Happy New Year to you, your wife, and of course, Spotty. Happy holidays to her too, of course. Right. Wouldn't be the same, of course. How about that? Anything else? I think that was a great way to end that if that's where you want to end this.
yep, it sounds great.
Well, okay. Anyway, guys, that was an incredible episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people, where we talk about critical issues in the blindness community. Tonight, to review, we were just speaking with Daniel Hood from HoodWave.org. HoodWave Disability Radio. You guys can click the link in the description for that. And one moment here. Just had to plug in the microphone. So yeah, I absolutely loved recording this one with you. We will certainly be including your link in the description for everybody around the world to come on over to your station, because it's the best one to come to, but definitely the best one to be a DJ on from every country on the planet. I'm determined to help you. So get ready, because you have business. Okay? And if you guys want to get in touch with me, I really wish you would. I don't know why you all are so shy. Just because I want to parrot, that's not a reason not to talk to me, right? So aaronsopinion6@gmail.com, 1240-681-9869. Consider following us on Facebook. Consider following on Twitter. Comment below on YouTube. Even consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. As our great friend Connor would say, but I like to say it because it's true. A friend is the nicest thing you can have and the nicest thing you can be. I want to wish everybody around the world, I might be putting out, an episode tomorrow or the day after, but if I don't, happy holidays. I wish you all from around the world happy holidays, great health, and a very safe, happy start to 2021. We have a very special way we end every episode of Aaron's Opinion. Do you know how we end Aaron's Opinion, Daniel?
No, but I'd like to find out.
Well, good. Let's find out. Help one person today. Help 1 million people tomorrow.
HoodWave Disability wants to thank you for taking interest in our podcast. And if you are interested in finding out more, please contact us at www.hoodwave.org. Again, that is www.hoodwave.org. You may also write to us and tell us your story at hoodwave.radio@gmail.com. Again, that is hoodwave.radio@gmail.com. You may also check out our blog at www.self-advocacytoday.com. Again, that is www.self-advocacytoday.com.